Hi guys, we're ready to move on to multiplication and division equations. So today you're going to get a mini preview of how to solve an equation that has multiplication in it. So just like when we solved addition and subtraction equations, you're going to do the opposite or the inverse. So if you see multiplication, the inverse is division. So let's take a look at this first example. Here it says solve 3y equals 6. Another way to think of that is 3 times what number is 6? And you could probably get this answer mentally. But you know that it's important for us to show our work. So you see that here in step 1. 3 times y equals 6. Since y is being multiplied by 3, and we know we want to get our variable by itself, we're going to divide by 3. That makes 1y. And if you only have 1y, then you know you have it all by itself. On this side, these 3's would cancel each other out, leaving us with y. But on the right side, the fraction line is a division sign. So you're going to do 6 divided by 3, and that gives you 2. Y equals 2. We can check these equations by plugging back in for y. Since our solution was 2, we're going to do 3 times 2, and yes, that does equal 6. Another way to see this is with a model. So it's the exact same problem. 3 y's, so I have a y, and y, equal 6. So if I want to know what 1y equals, I can see that it equals 2. Let's try a few together. 2y equals 8. We know that when the coefficient is next to a variable, the operation that's going on between them is multiplication. We want to use the opposite to undo this multiplication and get the variable by itself. Remember, this variable is like our gift, and we want to know what it's equal to. So we need to unwrap it. It's all wrapped up in multiplication, so we're going to unwrap it with division. It's important to keep the balance in our equations, so since we divided the left side by 2, we have to divide the right side by 2. That lets us cancel these 2's and leaves us with y equals 8 divided by 2 is 4. Y equals 4 is our solution for number 1. Let's try number 2. 3y equals 9. Here's our variable. It's being multiplied by 3. We're going to undo multiplication with division. So we're going to divide by 3. Whatever we do on one side of our equation, we need to use our properties of equality to keep the balance. This property is the division property of equality. We divide one side of our equation by 3, we must divide the other side of our equation by 3, leaving us with y equals 3. That is our solution. Here's one more for us to practice together. 4y equals 12. Since y is being multiplied by 4, I'm going to divide by 4. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other side of the equation. 4 divided by 4 is 1, leaving me with just 1y. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Y equals 3 happens to be the solution for this problem as well. Okay, let's take a look at numbers 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead and try number 1 on your own. Okay, let's check and see how you did. Did you divide both sides by 4? If you did, you should have gotten x equals 2. Okay, number 2 looks slightly different because it has an integer in it. But the process doesn't change. Start on the side with the variable. 2x. X is being multiplied by 2. So again, I undo multiplication with division. Whatever I do on one side of the equation must also do on the other side. These 2's cancel, leaving x by itself. On the left side, I have to perform the division. Negative 8 divided by 2. That gives me negative 4 equals x. Remember our rules for multiplying and dividing integers. When we have different signs, we get a negative number. But if we have the same signs, we get a positive number. Go ahead and try number 3 on your own. Did you get x equals 1? That is the solution to this equation. Okay, let's recap what we just talked about. What operation did we use to find each solution? Division, because it's the inverse of multiplication. Number 5, how can you use the coefficient of x to solve the equation 4x equals 12? You can divide by the coefficient. How can you use the coefficient of x to solve negative 5x equals 10 without using cups and counters? Since we've been doing this algebraically already, you should be able to answer this question on your own. That's right, you just divide both sides by negative 5. Okay, let's finish up with these questions here. Complete each sentence. To solve 4x equals 36, divide each side by... That's right, 4. To solve negative 27 equals negative 3d, divide each side by negative 3. To solve 15h equals negative 75, we would divide each side by 15. And to solve negative 8a equals 96, divide each side by negative 8. We're going to skip over number 8, but I'd like you to finish up by doing this last problem on your own, helping you remember. In your own words, define the division property of equality, and then try to describe a real-life situation in which you may need to use the division property of equality.